Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I formally declare open this council meeting of the Colac Otway Shire on the 26th of May 2026. I'll start with the opening prayer. Almighty God, we seek your blessing and guidance in our deliberations. On behalf of the people of the Colac Otway Shire, enable this council's decisions to be those that contribute to the true welfare and betterment of our community. Amen. I'd like to start this afternoon by acknowledging the traditional custodians and lawmakers of this land, their elders past and present. Please be advised that this meeting is recorded and live streamed with the exception of confidential matters. This includes the public participation sections of meetings. The live stream recording of this afternoon's meeting will be available on the website as soon as practicable. By participating in open meetings, individuals consent to the use and disclosure of the information they share at the meeting, including any personal and or sensitive information. I note that all councillors are present. There are no apologies. I move to item 3.3, confirmation of minutes. I propose that we move to confirm the minutes of the council meeting held on the 28th of April 2026. Do I have a mover? Councillor Potter. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Hudgell. We have a motion before us, councillors. We'll now put it to a vote. All those in favour, Councillor Potter, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Douche, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Howard, Councillor Shramps, carried 7-0. 3.4, declarations of interest. Are there any? I have a declaration of interest on item 6.1, planning permit 124/2024-1. 365 Maleric Road, obviously, that I do work for the landholder and some of the objectors. Are there any others? No, I'll just note that I'd previously had a conflict of interest on item 6.2, the anomalies, as I lived in the area near it. I've since sold that property and moved, so I no longer have a conflict there, just noting that for transparency. Thank you. We now move on to, there's no other conflicts? Nope. Move on to question time. Question time is an opportunity to ask questions of council in a respectful manner. Please extend due courtesy to councillors and officers when addressing council in this meeting. We reserve the right to disallow questions that breach our governance rules. 30 minutes is allowed for question time at council meetings. Community members wishing to ask questions of council by video conference were requested to register their intention before 5 p.m. on Friday the 22nd of May 2026. No requests were received. Council has not received any written questions from the public. We'll move to questions from the gallery. In accordance with our governance rules, we have sought registration for questions from the gallery today. I'll first call on Tony Webber. Thank you.
My question is about the lease for Colac. Did all councillors see the lease before it was voted on? The whole lease, all the details?
Yes, all councillors saw the lease. Was voted on previously before it went out for public submission, and that was all public information.
But did they see all the details, the finer points of the lease?
I'm not sure what you mean by the finer points of the lease. Do you mean business operations?
Yeah, all of that.
Well, that's business operations. The lease details, the points were public and all councillors got to see them, yes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Next, Simon Arundel. Thank you.
Simon Arundel from Bungadore, which is near Swan Marsh. We have a corner. It's at the intersection of the Speedway Road and the Carpendite Bungadore Road. I've been at this shire for about 10 years to fix this corner. I've had any number of engineers go out there and they've got no idea what they're doing. I had Mr. Snook out this week, he was all right, but the others, hopeless. I've received quite a few plans over the years, ridiculous plans. The culverts just need to be moved 12, 15 metres to the west, and the council needs to buy, which they did attempt to do at one stage, but the fella sold the land, so the sale never happened. So they can make the corner safe. At the moment, these trucks, there used to be an 8-tonne truck on those roads. Now they're 80 tonne. They're pulling 3 trailers. So they have to drive on the wrong side of the road for a couple of 100 metres. They then turn the corner, and then they have to drive on the wrong side of the road for another couple of 100 metres to get in line again.
Yep. So what's
What
your
happens-
question, Mr. Lorando?
Yeah, this is the question.
Mm-hmm.
The whole intersection is a question. What happens if a truck driving down the wrong side of the road in order to turn to the west runs into a car who wants to turn south on that intersection? Who is at fault? The truck driver, the car driver, or the Shire, because they know this corner's no damn good and they've done nothing about it for at least 10 years?
Okay. I'll ask General Manager Doug McNeil. He might have to take that on notice, but respond.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Yeah, that's certainly one I can take on notice, and we'll get someone to get back to you after looking at it.
Yes, and I have another question. Someone's not doing their homework. Just recently they were going to rip the intersection up and repave it. The intersection itself is some of the best road out there. It has not collapsed, it hasn't sunk, and they were going to spend all this money playing with it, only to have the culverts still in the wrong place. So I would like to see someone out there who is a proper engineer to look at the problem, because it's dangerous the way it is.
Oh.
You try and get 3 trailers round that corner, I bet you bloody can't.
I'll give it a go.
I'll watch it.
All right, thanks, Mr. Arnold.
All right, and make sure you get in contact with them.
Yes, Mr. McNeil will do
We
it.
will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now call Lynn Russell. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A little background to my question. On March the 25th, 2025, at the council meeting, item 7.9 on the agenda, the S5 instrument of delegation for the Chief Executive Officer. Councillor Stram, you moved an alternative to the conditions and limitations. The delegate, the CEO, must not determine the issue, take action or do or act or thing for is subject to conditions and limitations set out in the schedule, with another inclusion under point 1.15. And Councillor Schramm, you entered the alternative as entering a lease or licence agreement for land or buildings that are owned or managed by the council. After Councillor Schramm moved the alternative motion, Councillor Howard asked for the rationale for the inclusion. Councillor Schramm replied, in the past the CEO could sign leases without them coming to council, an example being a building out for lease for a peppercorn fee, but by coming to council it may open the lease to other community groups. The alternative motion was seconded by Councillor Howard and
Do
was
you have a
passed.
question on that?
Yes,
please,
I have
Lynn?
just one more thing. When Councillor Schramm spoke to the alternative motion, he stated that it is great for transparency, ensures it comes before council, leases and agreements come to open council meetings which could not have possibly been done before, and it ensures an open and transparency. Now, I've researched it and found that this condition or limitations has not been rescinded. My question is, Mr. CEO, would you please contact the council legal advisors to ensure that you can legally sign the Colac lease as directed by the motion moved and seconded and passed at Apollo Bay?
Would you like to respond, CEO?
Through you, Mayor. Thanks for the question. We've been through this significantly to make sure that each step along the way in this process has been in accordance with the Local Government Act and with our governance rules and everything else that guardrails our decision making. There is a resolution that does empower me to enter into a lease once we've completed the negotiations with the new firm that's coming in to manage Colac, and I'm confident that the advice that we've received and the process we've taken is in accordance with all our regulatory requirements.
And it won't come to...
It already has come to open council, and council, as I say, has resolved to give me the power to enter into a final lease agreement.
Thank you. The final question is from Prabhakari. Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. My interest is in researching the community consultation process and the terms of the EOI for the COPAC, the management of the COPAC. And as you'll agree that based on the number of questions you've received and all the comments in the Colac Herald as well, that the community consultation process could have been better. So I would like to have a look at the documents for that. Do I need to go through an FOI, or can I just ask for it and it'll be given?
Which particular things are you looking for?
I'm looking at it at the process. The bits that I'm interested in is, one is the community consultation process, and not just a statement saying that we've consulted the community, but what is it that the community has actually said to you in relation to the contract, the information that you received as part of this process.
Yep.
And the second part of it is in relation to how you're going to measure whether it's been successful, they're successfully meeting our requirements, and especially in relation to the community being able to afford to use the services of this building.
Sure.
Through you, Mayor. Thanks, Mr. Cuddy. If you send through an email just outlining the documents that you're requesting, we can have a look at that and share as much as we can around that.
Yeah.
The second part is, as part of special conditions around the lease, we're looking at putting in place some sort of indicators that we can then work with the new management company to make sure that they're meeting what the community said through that consultation process. Now, that was valuable in seeing what was important to the community, how we enshrine that and work through that with the operator we're working through at the moment.
So we'll receive this when you finally assess it after, is it 1 year that you're going to assess this arrangement, or 2 years?
Well, we would have to, and that's part of the detail as to how much notice we need to give. If either party is looking to not continue the arrangement, so it was for a 3-year by 3-year by 3-year lease, we have to work out with the management company on what the requirements are to.
Oh, no, sorry, if I might I'm just interested only in how we measure whether they are meeting it or not.
Yeah.
In the terms.
And
is there some?
And so there'll be some indicators, and we'll
Yep.
report those back through council,
Sure.
so that everyone has a view on how the management is performing.
Fine. I did have 2 more questions. One is from last week, because it was responded to but not answered, and one more about that. In relation to unscheduled meetings, and I've got a email from Andrew subsequently on a different issue, where I understand that if there's an emergency or for clarity, you call it unscheduled meetings. So in relation to that COPAC one, what was the emergency, given that the EOI was from June 2025, or what's the clarity that you wanted?
Yeah.
Through you, Mayor. So it became time critical in a sense, because the lease arrangements with the cinema provider were due to expire, and we wanted to make sure that there are some arrangements in place to continue the operations of the whole facility. And so the requirement to go to public consultation, we needed to bring that before council as soon as possible to get that approval, so we could go out and do that to try and minimise disruption to the operations of the facility as a whole, and it minimise that period of time. So
it could not have been done in the meeting before, the council meeting before the unscheduled meeting?
No, because we hadn't put before the councillors what the key terms of the lease were that we were going to go out to the public with.
Sure. And just one final one is in this rule that in unscheduled meetings, no questions are, but I appreciate that the mayor did allow a question at the last one, but did at the COPAC one, though he said that because the matter is something that we're discussing at the meeting, we can't answer the question. Now, this is something that I put in my submission to governance rules, saying that that should be removed, because I can't see the justification for that. Could you tell me why, given that the question of Elizabeth Ryan related to the process before, not what was actually being discussed, why is it that a question that is scheduled for the meeting cannot be answered on the agenda for the meeting?
I can't remember what the question was, but it depends on how it's framed.
The question was essentially that council did not, the consultation process and all that was not adequate, and they want a bit more information about that, as I recollect.
Through you, Mayor, I'm still not certain on the situation that you're referring to, but if you, again, want to send us a note in where we can respond to it, then...
Oh, no, I can
can.
actually, hold on. I think I got it here on my phone. 1 second, please, if you just bear with me a second. Here it is. The question was, my question is, what happens to the community's input and why wasn't it considered in this decision? This is the decision to, I think, go.
Yeah, you might have to put that on and send an email in so you can get a proper answer. I'm not really
Okay,
across.
but in
across
general, the practice of not answering questions because it's on the agenda, what's the logic behind that?
Councillors can't preempt a decision, and nor can officers. So it depends on how the question's framed. And like I say, I'm not 100% sure in the context here today. If that's all
But
right.
in fact, if a person asks a question, won't it in fact actually contribute towards make you take a more well-informed decision?
It possibly could, but I'm not sure of the context of it. But if you put that in writing, we can be more specific to what you're asking, if that's all right.
That's all from,
Thank you.
from me.
Thank you. We've had a late addition. Elizabeth Ryan. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry I was late. My question relates to, or I'll give you a bit of a background. On the 2nd of May, we had a bike ride out our way, and the traffic management was lacklustre. There was nothing at the corner of Warrifle Butts Road and Birregurra Deansmarsh Road, even though the race started like at 8 o'clock or whatever, or 7:30 down at Torquay. There was nothing at the intersection of so when you came round to the Cape Otway Road and the Birregurra Deansmarsh Road intersection, the traffic management team were there. But because I knew the race was on, I was conscious of the fact that they were going to be there. But while I was actually parked waiting to turn right back into to Cape Otway Road, I had 4 four-wheel drives basically had to go left and avoid me.
Yeah.
The bike riders, the race was active. I said to the traffic management team that was there, do you realise there's no signage up? And their response was the person that was supposed to be coordinating it for that day had failed, actually thought it was the following day. So actually hadn't put any signage up.
Yep. So what's the question?
The question is also that the Colac Otway Shire put in their community newsletter, a community ad in the Colac Otway, the Colac Herald, advertising this bike ride, which I was blown away with. I was very surprised to see the Colac Otway Shire actually advertised this private ride.
Mm-hmm.
And what can we put in place to make us safer for everybody, road users, that when these events happen, because the Shire's got no input about this event.
I'll throw it in, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, through you, Mayor. We'll have to take that question on notice, Ms Ryan, but I would encourage you to make contact with our events team so we can deal with your concern. We haven't had any other feedback about that particular event, but it's always best to go through the right channels so we can deal with your concerns. And
I sent an email to Hannah Mueller within that week about it, and she hasn't responded.
Yeah, that officer's actually on leave, but we'll make sure we follow up.
That doesn't help.
No, but you should get a response.
Okay, so then the night that the cheese truck crashed out on the highway, on the Wednesday night, I think it was, I was coming to Colac the next day and thought, something's really odd. Cape Otway Road's got crazy busy. There's something going on, just to volume of traffic, and then you actually could see people actually looking at gadgets in their vehicles as they were coming towards me along the Cape Otway Road as I got up to the Birregurra Road intersection. Then realised the whole volume of traffic that was actually around, thinking, this is crazy, something's going on. I actually pulled off in Birri to check my Vic Emergency app to make sure what's happened. nothing.
Yeah.
My question is, and lots of people have been impacted by that event, the fire brigade didn't know about it. It's really interesting who didn't even know it had happened.
Sure.
And then the major impact that it actually then had on the section of the Birregurra Deans Marsh Road as you come out of Birregurra Township itself. Since that accident, that speed section to the Birri Forest Road has now been reduced to 40 k's.
I don't know. I'm not following your question.
My question is, has the Shire had any reports from Vic Roads about why the road, that event was managed so badly, that the lack of information to the community about road diversions, people only if they'd heard ABC Ballarat apparently knew that morning that the road was the highway was closed.
I'm not sure we would have, but
You've had nothing still?
No,
You haven't done any
probably the
follow-up?
best people to contact is Vic Roads and Vic Police to find out why it wasn't updated on the emergency Vic app and road diversions and things.
There was no signage. People would, you could just tell they were lost, absolutely lost. There were trucks going every which way.
Yeah, I think Richard Reardon made a fair point about that sort of thing in publicly as well. I think, yeah. All right. No, but no.
So you don't have any contact at the...
I'm not aware of any concerns that have been lodged with council, but I agree with the Mayor's comment there that you might be best contacting either Vic Police or Department of Transport in relation to how that all unfolded and what might be improved going forward.
So, sorry, just a question then. So your emergency management team does not get notified when an incident like that occurs within the Shire?
Only if we need to assist.
Right.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. That concludes our question times. Thanks everyone that contributed. We've got no petitions or joint letters. Now move on to 6, planning and responsible authority decisions. Item number 6.1, planning permit 124-2024-1, 365 Malerick Road, Ombersley. Use and development of the land for industry, stone processing facility and reduction of car parking requirements. I have a conflict of interest on this item, so I'll hand over to the Deputy Mayor while I vacate.
Before you vacate, Mr Mayor, I just want to throw it to the CEO for 1 minute.
Yeah, through you, Mayor and Deputy Mayor. As is indicated up there, I'll be withdrawing this report. Overnight there's been a material change to one of the recommendations that was exhibited publicly, and it's felt that at this stage we need to amend the report and take it to the next planning committee meeting where we can properly exhibit the recommendations that are being proposed by officers. So, yeah, we'll withdraw this report for this meeting. Oh, we don't have to. So the next planning meeting that we'll take this to at this stage is the 9th of June.
All right, thanks ladies and gentlemen. Item 6.1 has been withdrawn and you've heard the reasons and when it will be coming back. So we'll move to item 6.2, Amendment C131, COLA, Anomalies Amendment. Questions of officers? No questions? There's an officer recommendation in the report. Councillors, does anyone wish to move that as the motion? Councillor Howard, is it to be seconded? Councillor Potter? Councillor Howard is the mover. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr Mayor. Again, this is just to correct anomalies. So the planning department has picked up these over the number of years, and I believe part of the recommendation is here because we're going through another planning process that they want those anomalies picked up in the next process that council's doing around Apollo Bay, I believe. So again, it's just a statutory, straightforward report. So I'll be supporting.
Thanks, Councillor. Councillor Potter is the seconder.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. Concur with what Councillor Howard said. I think when we originally moved to address these anomalies, Department of Transport and other groups had a look and have made some recommendations to a couple of changes and further clean up, and that's what this is about.
Thank you. Any other councillor? No. In that case, we have Motion before us, councillors, will now put to a vote. All those in favour, Councillor Potter, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Dews, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. Motion is carried 7-0. Thanks, councillors. We'll now move on to items for decision under item 7, 7.1, project budget adjustments and cash reserves transfers. Questions of officers? No questions. Have an officer recommendation in the report. Does anyone wish to move that as a motion? Councillor Hudgell, seconded. Councillor McCrickard. Councillor Hudgell is mover. Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, as always, this report demonstrates good governance and provides transparency to the community around changes that occur outside the normal annual budget cycle. There's a couple of project adjustments and additions in there within this report, in particular the Speedway roadworks. They're an important project addressing the current safety risks out there. Also, the Deans Creek Road and Pound Road intersection upgrade, which is a really positive outcome following Council's success in securing the TAC funding through the Safer Local Roads Streets program. And I just want to make a note there. I think it's always really encouraging to see Council leveraging external funding opportunities, and in this case, Council contribution of $16,000 is helping deliver a project valued over $400,000, which is great.
Thanks, Councillor. Councillor McCrickard is seconder.
Thank you, thank you, Mayor. No, look, I concur with everything Councillor Hudgell has said. Yeah, I too am really happy that the Deans Creek Pound Road intersection has been notorious over the years for minor crashes and a major crash. And it's really good to see that done, along with the other works. So well done to council staff on accessing grants and carrying out the work. Thank you.
Thanks, councillor. Any other councillor? Councillor Howard.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I'd just like to note the addition of $9,000 that was funded for the Apollo Bay Old Cable Station Museum. Myself and Councillor Dedude went out to their annual general meeting, and they appreciated the council contribution there to get their driveway fixed up, because they do a lot for the community and for keeping the historical records, and yeah, it's a great asset. So just to pass that on.
Thanks, councillor. Any other councillor? No. A motion before us, councillors, will now put to the vote. All those in favour, Councillor Potter, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Dews, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. Motion is carried 7-0. Thanks, councillors. We'll move on to item 7.2, public art, expression of interest, recommendation for funding allocation. Questions of officers? No questions? I've one. Where exactly will this art display be going? Thank you. Oh, yeah, where exactly will this art piece be going, displayed, painted?
The focus at the moment will be on Colac for sure. So, but there are a few things that we'll need to work out with the artist. We need to make sure we have the right approvals in place before we can confirm that.
Thank you. Any other questions of officers? Councillor Howard.
Excuse me, just as a follow-up though, is this just the start of something for a whole Shire-wide type of public art project?
Happy to take that one through you, Mayor. Yeah, so we've had some money allocated in the last 2 financial years, and the draft budget includes money for next year as well. So our approach is that we'd be looking at right across the Shire for public art projects. We're starting, this is our first one, so it's pretty exciting, which is a focus on Colac, but we'd be looking to share that around the Shire in future years.
Thank you. Any other questions? No, we have an officer recommendation in the report. Councillors, does anyone wish to move that as the motion? Councillor Hudgell, is it to be seconded? Councillor McCriggard. Councillor Hudgell is a mover. Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, I'm really pleased to support this recommendation, and I just want to firstly thank all the submitters. Receiving 20 submissions is an incredible result and demonstrates a strong interest and enthusiasm that we have for public art across our region. I believe public art is a really important element of any community, and it can build a real sense of belonging and community pride and contribute to the overall vibrancy and the character of the town. And I think this officer recommendation strikes a really good balance. By endorsing this preferred artist, we're able to deliver some public art this year and provide an immediate benefit to the community, but at the same time, carrying forward some funding and combining it with future allocation allows us to think more strategic and create opportunities for larger projects that can have an even bigger impact. I really would like to see us continuing to invest time and resources and funding into public art over the next coming years as a council. I think it's enormous potential, which is really exciting, and as I mentioned before, it can contribute to community pride and connection, but it also can support tourism and economic activity by creating experiences that help Colac stand out as a town. So lastly, I'd just like to thank the officers for all their work that they've done on this. I'm really excited to see some action this year, and equally excited to see a broader vision and a long-term plan continue to develop into the future. So thanks to the officers.
Thanks, Councillor. Councillor McCriggard as a seconder. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Look, we all need colour in our lives. It's always good for our mental health and our vibrancy and our sense of belonging and a sense of pride too in our community. And I reckon that's really important and something that we need to continually work on is our sense of pride and our honour to be part of our community. Well, not honour, but you know what I mean. But no, I concur totally with what Councillor Hudgell has said, and I'm looking forward to the opportunities that this venture takes us on. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Potter. Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, I think this is an exciting step for this council. It comes on the back of a motion, I think, moved by Councillor Hanson in the last council to allocate some money to public art. The town's crying out for it. Our whole shire's crying out for it. There are many buildings that would benefit from some display of street art, the opportunity to tell our history, both Indigenous and modern, celebrate musicians, sports people and all the rest of it. I think that's really opened up, along with lots of other opportunities. So the officers did a lot of work on this, and it was supported by a number of submissions, as Councillor Hudgell pointed out. I thought there was a very strong candidate that provided some extra community benefit in relation to teaching art to children and so forth, but I think the thrust of this is clear, and we're going to carry some money forward, so perhaps we can get some bigger and better things delivered across the Shire, but as I said, a great step forward for the Shire.
Thanks, Councillor. Any other councillor? Councillor Howard, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr Mayor. Look, I'm just echoing some of the comments that the other councillors said, because I'm pretty excited about this too. I think Councillor Hudgell used the word connection, and I think this art this is the start of something big, I feel, for the Shire and Council, connecting our communities together, connecting our different groups together, all our different diverse and dynamic people in our Shire and groups. So I'm pretty excited about things, small things turn into large things down the track if they're supported, so I will support this.
Thanks, Councillor. Any other councillor? Councillor Buchanan, thank you.
Thanks, Mayor. I'd certainly like to put my support behind this art that's going to be portrayed around our town. A lot of regional areas around Victoria and Australia have some terrific art pieces on silos, and in fact it's made those small rural towns, they're visit a destination just to see that art. So I think to start to promote that in our little city will be a big plus for the whole area. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other councillor? No? This would be good, and really stage 2 of our sculpture park that happened when I was just a boy. So well, I think there's still some sculpture down there, and the wombat or quoll or whatever it is out the front of Colac, that used to be down there and went for a swim in the creek, and that's when they decided to move it up here, I think. But no, it'll be good. So not just paintings, hopefully, in the future, but some sculptures and things. And some of the submissions, you know, although confidential, would have been good to show some members of the public. It was, they were all quality, from sculptures to paintings and other works of art. So there's a big interest in the community, and yeah, hopefully, like other councillors have said, it's a big step forward in starting to, you know, get some vibrancy around our shire, not just Colac, but you know, the entire shire. Thank you. Right, a reply, Councillor Hodgell? No. No, we have a motion before us. Councillors will now put it to a vote. All those in favour: Councillor Potter, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Dew, Councillor McGregor, Councillor Hodgell, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. Carried 7-0. Thank you, councillors. Move on to 7.3, the draft economic development framework for public exhibition. Questions of officers. No questions. Have an officer recommendation in the report. Does any councillor wish to move that as a motion? Councillor Potter, is it to be seconded? Councillor Howard. Councillor Potter as a mover. Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, I'm pleased to move this recommendation. It is a recommendation that we put on public exhibition our draft economic development framework. I think it's a very, very good document. I've been on council a little while, and it's the best one that I've seen since I've been on council. I thank officers, especially our Eco Dev team, for their work they've done in coordinating this and putting this together. I'm very interested to hear from the public what they think of it, but this is a very, very good start for setting this shire up for bigger and better things.
Thanks, Councillor. Councillor Howard is the seconder.
Yeah, thank you, Mr Mayor. And yeah, I'd like to echo again Councillor Potter's comments and like to thank all the councillors for their input into this development of this strategy. Look forward to the community's input to it as well, and the various groups in the community, because it's a very important strategic document that we need to do. I always think that Colac Otway Shire is a jewel just waiting to come out. It's approximate to Geelong, our beautiful coastal area, our beautiful hinterlands. You know, this shire can go places, and I think with these kind of strategies, and this is a well thought out one, and with the community's input, I think this is going to be really set us up for the future. Thank you.
Thanks, councillor. Any other councillor wish to speak? No. We have a motion before us, councillors. We'll now put it to a vote. All those in favour: Councillor Potter, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Dews, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Hodgell, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. It's carried 7-0. Thanks, councillors. Move on to 7.4, Colac Otway Shire Football Soccer Facilities Feasibility Study. The purpose of this report is to seek council's endorsement of the final Colac Otway Football Soccer Facilities Feasibility Study. Very good. Any questions of officers? Councillor Howard, thank you.
Just one quick question. Is the soccer going to stay in the brackets forever as we deliberate through this?
Not if soccer have anything to do with it, Councillor.
Thanks. Any real questions? No. We have an officer recommendation in the report. Councillors, does any councillor wish to move that as the motion? Councillor McCrickard, it's to be seconded. Councillor Hodgell, seconded. Thank you. Councillor McCrickard as a mover.
Thank you, Mayor. Look, it's exciting times ahead for our soccer or our football communities. across the Shire, as the document points out, there the numbers of participants, male and female, are growing rapidly, and strangely, it's outpacing AFL. And I never thought I'd see that happen, but it has, and it's terrific. But the work is still before us, as council, collectively have put the soccer or the football agenda firmly in place as a priority, and that's really terrific. I congratulate the officers for the work that they've put into this, and I know the Mayor and the CEO as well have contributed significantly. And one of the things that we have to do, though, is continue to ensure that the facilities that our soccer-loving young people are still up to scratch. Well, I know they're up to scratch, but they're still available for use, and we listen to any concerns that they've got so we can address them and make sure they're comfortable in their surroundings. But by and large, well done to the officers. You've done a great job on this, and we look forward to an exciting time ahead. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor. Councillor Hudgell is the seconder.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, I'd just like to echo Councillor McCrickard's comments and also thank the staff for all their work that they've done on this. I think throughout the process it was just so encouraging to see the strong level of community stakeholder support reflected through the public exhibition process and all the submissions received. So I'd just like to thank all of those that have been on this journey and this ride with the officers as well. It's been a massive team effort and a very exciting future. So thank you.
Thanks, Councillor. Any other councillor? Councillor Potter, thank you.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, I'm very pleased to support this. There's a lot of hard work, a lot of networking, a lot of hours gone into it. But the hard work, of course, is got to continue, is in front of us. And this proposed facility will be a piece of our advocacy carried by the CEO and the Mayor and officers forward. And we will continue to put this front and centre when talking to the right people. Councillor McCrickard touched on it. I just want to refer to point 5 in the recommendation that Council supports the continued use and optimisation of existing facilities. We have to shore up our support for football in the short term because we don't want numbers dropping away because the facilities can't cope with the demand and the families look elsewhere or turn back to other sports. So keep the support up for football, in brackets soccer, in the short term, and we will advocate strongly in the future to see if we can deliver the facilities that football needs.
Thanks, Councillor. Councillor Buchanan.
Thanks, Mayor. I think going back to this term of council 18 months ago, it was one of the things that was posed, and it was put not only by officers but by councillors listening to the community, and it slowly got put together by a lot of different meetings as it become a very, very high priority on our wish list. Now, going back, I think a few of us, including me, thought the farmers' way will do. We'll put a couple of containers over in the old high school ground, and we'll plough the paddock up and start kicking the ball around. But through good sense and good guidance, we were convinced that there's a bigger, better way, and that's reaching for the sky. And I think over time it certainly got my full support. I think you're starting to see the importance of something. If we can pull this one off, I think it'll be the biggest thing for this little city for a long, long time in sporting. It won't only just provide sporting opportunities, it'll provide also the desire for people to invest in the town in 4-star accommodation, because it will bring crowds from across Western Victoria and the Geelong area. So 5-star, sorry, we'll bring that up a star, Mayor. Obviously some of your relations are going to come and stay. But I think it's going to be the biggest thing we can push for, and I think the support from all the councillors is very, very evident going through, and the staff have done a marvellous job. We've had people give us submissions from Soccer Victoria, from local Geelong clubs have come down here and given their support with letters and emails. We're off to a good start, and whatever councillors can do to help the staff in this regard, you know, it's just so good. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Howard.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Look, I'll support the recommendation, and because I believe it should be one of our advocacy things, but something I'll be really pushing for if it comes to fruition is the accessibility for everyone within the Shire to be able to access the facility. So that'll be my push, that I'll just inform the community across the Shire that I'll make sure that this facility is a Shire-wide thing, which the councillors agree on too. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other councillor? No, I fully support this. I will note in point 4 that it, you know, if council support this, which is looking likely, it endorses the use at the Colac High School. So we've had a lot of talk over many years about what we'll do with that land. A lot of ideas, and you know, people coming to many meetings asking, from different sports to campgrounds to botanic gardens. So this did go out for expression of interest and pretty much got 100% support, and there were no submissions saying that we should be banking that land for any other reason. So it pretty much puts to bed now what the future use will be at the Colac High School, which was very important to a lot of people in the community that fought pretty hard to get that land back in community hands. So if this is supported, that's you know, what it'll be used for, and I think it'll be a very good use, not to take away from some of the other suggestions that were to potentially go there, but if this is endorsed, you know, it's been very topical. So it's been a lot of hard work to get this far. The advocacy from you know, the Rovers Football Club, Soccer Club. Beautiful. Yeah, so this is pretty much the final step to really hit the ground and try and get some of that money to get a much needed, well overdue facility. So, you know, I fully support it. Right of reply, Councillor McCready? No. We have a motion before us. Councillors will now put it to a vote. All those in favour? Councillor Potter, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Douche, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. Motion is carried 7-0. Thank you. Thanks, councillors. We'll now move on to 7.5, the finalisation of the Disaster Recovery Program 2021 and 22 storm events. Questions of officers. Councillor Douche.
I want to say I appreciate all the work council has put into recovery and strengthening infrastructure for preparedness for future incidents. What advocacy options do we have to push for policy changes for DRFA funding rules, particularly to allow for rebuilding to more resilient standards and to stop funding criteria from being changed after works are undertaken?
Thank you for the question. Through you, Mayor. This is an issue that's not just affecting Colac Otway Shire, but it's one that's affected all councils in Victoria over the years where they've had to do works after a disaster event. There's obviously a desire to try and rebuild damaged infrastructure to a higher standard so that it's more resilient to future events. We have actually, as an organisation, raised this in the last couple of months with the Grants Commission when they came to speak to council. We also raised it in the bushfire inquiry after the Otway bushfires in January. But there is opportunities through the MAV. I know that it's been dealt with in that forum in the past, and there's an opportunity through the State Council that might be raised again this year, where we can talk to other councils and see if we can put together a joint position that might get some progress on that one.
Thank you. Any other questions? No questions. We have an officer recommendation in the report. Councillor, does anyone wish to move that as a motion? Councillor Howard. It's to be seconded. Councillor Potter. Councillor Howard is the mover. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I had to read the heading twice because I didn't know whether it was about disaster recovery or disaster that we have to fund the shortfall of 650,000. But that was a good question by Councillor Dude, because it's something that's been prevalent in the industry for a long time, where councils have tried to help their communities recover and then recover and be more resilient by building better infrastructure and safer infrastructure, and then we've been penalised for it. And officers have done a great effort, and I think we've got things in place now that will ensure that we've got a better chance of getting our funding back. But certainly we've got to keep advocating to change the rules and make sure that all our disaster recovery funds are covered. So I will, and this, just the other thing, great transparency by the officers of bringing this into the public forum and highlighting the issues around emergency funding. Thank you.
Councillor Potter is the seconder. Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, Councillor Howard was almost word for word with what I was going to say, so thank you, and a great question from Councillor Duduke. Sometimes during this process, the rules we thought we were operating, or my understanding of this, even the rules change during the game, let alone at the end of the game. So that just makes it so hard for our staff, our contractors and our budget when you think you're doing something properly and got the money for it, and then the rules change and you find out you're not. So it really needs to be sorted out.
Any other councillor? No? Order reply. We have a motion before us, councillors. We'll now put it to a vote. All those in favour? Councillor Potter, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Duke, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. Motion is moved. Carried, 7-0. Thanks. Thanks, councillors. We'll move on to 7.6, transfer of lease, Hangar 1. Questions of officers. Councillor Howard.
Just a quick question. Who owns the actual hangar?
Through you, Mayor, the tenant owns the hangar. They lease the land off of council.
Thank you. Any other questions? No, we have an officer recommendation in the report. Councillors, does anyone wish to move that as a motion? Councillor Potter, to be seconded. Councillor McCrickard. Councillor Potter as the mover.
Thanks, Mayor. Straightforward. Madam Mayor, transfer of ownership of a hangar at the airfield.
Thank you. Councillor McCrickard, seconder. No, any other councillor? No, we have a motion before us, councillors. We'll now put it to a vote. All those in favour, Councillor Potter, Councillor Dews, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. All those against? Councillor Buchanan. Motion is carried 6-1. Thank you. We'll now move on to 7.7, revocation of governance policies, confidential information, internal audit control. Questions of officers. No questions? We have an officer recommendation in the report. Councillors, anyone wish to move that as the motion? Councillor Hudgell, seconded. Councillor Howard. Councillor Hudgell is a mover. Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, overall, this is just a practical governance housekeeping matter that can supports continuous improvement and good governance practices across the organisation. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Howard as the seconder.
Yeah, again, it's just transparency, bringing these stuff forward. The officers could have left them in limbo, but for transparency and good governance, they've brought them here to revoke because they're no longer required.
Thank you. Any other councillor? No, we have a motion before us. Councillors will now put a vote. All those in favour. Councillor Potter, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Duke, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. Motion is carried 7-0. Bless you. Move on to item 7.8, governance report monthly. Questions of officers? No questions. I have an officer recommendation in the report. Does anyone wish to move that as the motion? Councillor Hudgell, seconded. Councillor Potter. Councillor Hudgell is a mover. Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor. This governance report provides a really clear and transparent overview of Council's governance practices and processes. This report includes matters such as the informal meetings of councillors, updates to the community asset committee memberships, and while we're on that, just want to acknowledge and thank the volunteers who put their hand up to support these community asset committees. These play just such a huge role in helping manage and care for our valued community facilities across the Shire. So thank you.
Thanks, Councillor. Councillor Potter is the seconder.
Thanks, Mayor. I'd just like to mention point 4, the establishment of a community asset committee to manage the Bowen Downs Public Hall. This has been going to and from for quite some time now, so I thank officers for their work that they did with the community to get to this point. If this motion goes through, I'd like to congratulate the 4 members who put their hand up to form the Community Asset Committee. I know they're very proud of their hall out there, and they will do a very good job. And I congratulated everybody involved that we've finally got to this point.
Thanks, Councillor. Any other councillor? No. A motion before us, councillors, will now put to a vote. All those in favour: Councillor Potter, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Duke, Councillor McCrickar, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. Motion is carried 7-0. We'll now move on to item number 8.1, Quarter 3 Quarterly Performance Report, January to March 26. Questions of officers. Right. We have an officer recommendation in the report, councillors. Does anyone wish to move that as the motion? Councillor Howard, second, Councillor McCrickar. Councillor Howard as the mover.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As I think I've previously stated before, this is quite a good report for the public to have a look at. It's been refined over a number of years to try to make it a bit more readable or understandable by the public, but it does give you a good snapshot of where the Shire is and where the Shire is looking for into the future. Ask people to even have a look at the Capital Works program, which is a real tick for this Colac Otway Shire, how we're progressing with our Capital Works program and doing the backlog as well. I think it's just a big credit, and it goes unnoticed sometimes when you benchmark it with councils around the state. So that's all, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor. Councillor McCrickar as a seconder.
Thank you, Mayor. No, I concur with Councillor Howard's comments. Excellent document and very much worth the read. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other councillor? No? I have a motion before us. Councillors will now put it to vote. All those in favour: Councillor Potter, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Duke, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. Motion is carried 7-0. We'll now move on to item 8.2, Municipal Monitor Report Recommendation Status Report on Implementation. Questions of officers? No questions? I have an officer recommendation in the report. Does any councillor wish to move that as the motion? Councillor Hudgell? Is it to be seconded? Councillor Howard. Councillor Hudgell is the mover. Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor. I think it's really positive to see that 75% of the actions have either been completed or progressing on track, and importantly, this report just reflects Council's commitment to transparency and accountability, and I look forward to seeing the remainder actions continue to progress over the coming months.
Thank you, Councillor Howard as the seconder.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just one quick comment. This report does go through the Audit and Risk Audit and Risk Committee as well. So it does go through quite a rigorous process. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other councillor? No. The motion before us, councillors, will now put to a vote. All those in favour: Councillor Potter, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Duke, Councillor McCrickar, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. Motion is carried 7-0. Thanks, councillors. Move item 9, urgent business. Is there any? No. In that case, that concludes our officer reports. And that concludes our meeting of the Colac Otway Shire on this day. I declare this meeting closed at 1:59 p.m. Thank you.